What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Filsinger Games Character Spotlight with Mike and Brock.
I'm Mike.
I'm Brock, and we're once again joined by Jeff Manning, whoever that is.
How's it going?
Pretty good. We're continuing our way through Mega Tournament 2102 with Terak. Oh, wait.
You're upside down.
Is this the first horizontal card? I
It
can't
very
remember
well
one
might
before
be.
this.
Johnny Rocket had the
That's
show, right?
You're right. And Darkos.
Who looks a lot like Darth Maul to an extent there. I mean, doesn't look like face paint. If it was face paint, it looked more like Darth Maul, but
Confirmed. Darth Maul is a ripoff of Darkos.
I believe it. Just like New Order, just like Generation X. I know everything. They were watching Tom Filsinger like
1995 Darkos.
And then they saw that, they were like, Phantom Menace. You know George Lucas is a huge fan.
He is.
In fact, he even gave a salute to Tom with the Phantom Menace, the Dark Menace.
Mm-hmm.
It's all lining up, George Lucas. We're on to you, follower
It's
number
true.
164.
It's true.
All right.
So yeah, who should we start talking about?
Do you want
both of these are stellar?
Let's do Terak.
All right.
Thankfully, their backgrounds aren't long. If you want me to read them,
read
especially
them.
Darkos.
We got to stretch.
So we're pronouncing this Terak, right?
Terak.
I want to make sure I'm saying it correctly because sometimes we'll say names and I'm bad at it too. Terak. That's my southern kind of coming out, right? Anyway, manager of the Savage Kingdom. Watch out, rule breakers. Terak will now allow his team to get pushed around or intimidated any longer. He's opened the gates on Neptune, and the result is the coming of Moloch as a bodyguard. Moloch is big and powerful and will no doubt be a distraction to enemies like the Demons of Hydra or Cannibal's team. Will Moloch eventually become a GWF wrestler, or will Terak hold him back in fear that he'll be another failed Neptunian experiment like Dark Star Creature and Sectarian? Terak has virtually retired from wrestling like Darkos. And actually, because he follows Darkos in the book, that's why it mentions like Darkos. In his rare wrestling appearances, he has resurrected his classic move, beloved by GWF fans, the Beast Knee Shuffle, a series of rapid knee lifts. Side note, Terak's distract rating alone at ringside is a 5. His distract rating when he has Moloch is 7. Moloch's distract rating alone is a 5 as well. This is because Moloch is more effective at ringside when Terak is there to coach him. So what's this other little thing on the card? Can we talk about that? Is it just another beast?
It's kind of, it's the Neptunian version of a hairless cat.
That's what it looks like. It's pretty ugly. It would win the ugliest dog award. What's that dog that always wins the ugliest dog?
It looks like this thing.
Yeah, it does.
I'm thinking it looks like they thought it was one of the monkeys from Jabba the Hutt's palace.
It does look like that too.
So anyway, we were all in agreement it's ugly.
Yes.
So that's fantastic. Yeah. So this Sasquatch looking being behind him.
He never got his wrestler card in GWF, but the NGO made a card of him.
Yep.
So this was all hype, and he never makes his wrestling debut.
I think that's why the NGO made a card of him.
He is another failed Savage Kingdom. We talked about this recently on Discord too. Savage Kingdom was around a long time and never really had a breakout star.
Wildcat kind of was.
Wildcat was fun to play with because he had the deadly finisher, but he wasn't very good. But if he hit that finisher, it was exciting.
And Stalker was surprisingly good, just nobody used him.
But what are you going to use him as? I mean, for one, I never liked the name Stalker. I didn't like it when it was a G.I. Joe character originally, and I didn't like it in the GWF. It just sounds creepy. Oh, yeah, here's my guy, Stalker.
Yeah.
He's got like 18 restraining orders.
What about Barry Windham?
Yeah, you're right. That was horrible too, by the way. Yeah, so did we really need another Terak card? Wasn't it just to have Moloch debut? I mean, that had to be the only purpose of it, right?
It sounds like it from the description in the story.
And his card's even more of a downgrade.
Mm-hmm.
But we did get the Beast Knee Shuffle back.
You did.
Then the fans were clamoring for it. Apparently, it was a very exciting move that fans loved. Nowadays, when I originally played, I just thought it was like a multiple knee lift kind of thing, like very boring. But nowadays I could kind of see it because you see guys whip people guys in the turnbuckle and then do the running knee lift.
The V
It actually
trigger.
it does kind of get people excited now.
Hmm.
I would have never thought that at the time.
Real quick, I'll show you guys. It's a horrible resolution of the drawing, but here's the NGO Mullock. He actually has the little guy.
Oh, we got a guest appearance. That's awesome. So
Oh,
he's
okay.
not Terak's, he's Mullock's.
Yeah. With the NGO shaved into his chest.
Hmm.
Makes me think of the Croods where they're like, "What's a pet?" And he's like, it's a little animal you don't eat. We have those. They're called kids. That's what that little guy is.
So there he is. He even made an appearance on the NGO card.
We need to know next time you have Tom Filsinger on, and I big time him by not showing up.
What
Ask
is
him
this
what that
thing?
creature's name is.
Maybe he's the breakout star.
Maybe he's going to grow out, and we just haven't seen it yet. It's a very slow growth.
Yeah,
and in
he's like whatever
2140,
race Grogu is.
2140, he's the big release. You're going to go back to this tarot card from 2102 and be like, that little guy that's in the picture? He's amazing now.
His distractor rating's at 10. But yeah, that's Terak.
I'm on there. You got kids walking around. Kids, come to grab a can of Pringles.
What kind?
Gotta let you go. My damn wiener kids are here.
Just the original.
That's the Simpsons.
The original are the best, by the way, in Pringles.
Maybe. Are we covering these two because they're feuding in 2102?
Yep.
I didn't know if there was a rhyme or reason, or if you're just like, hey, they're the next two in the book.
Oh, no.
We try and have a theme each week.
Yeah.
It mentions that creature in the book. It does not give its description or name. It does say, first, Terak and the members of his team entered the media center. Terak held a tiny creature in his arms and put it on the microphone stand. So he even had a guest spot at the press conference. That thing's huge. I don't think people understand. This changes the timeline. You talk about butterfly effect in GWF. You go back, you cancel this creature, you capture him, something entirely different happens. Maybe we don't get Black Death. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows.
Jeff's so excited he froze.
He did.
I'm going with this guy.
He's
Low
back.
network bandwidth. Sorry, fellas. It's because Pete Beck commented on a thing I posted.
Maybe this is just some long-term storytelling, and we're going to finally get
this
to.
is some Kings Road booking at its best.
Okay, time out. I just want to say if this wasn't a long-term story, I hope that Tom watches this episode.
And it becomes one.
2141, we get this creature back with a beast knee shuffle in homage to his original owner. Finally, the redemption of Sectarian.
I agree. It needs to happen.
I'm excited. I am pumped. I've not been this pumped for a new character in a while. I see you, Tom. I might big time you, but I see you.
If not, it might have to become a bootleg. Sponsored by the show.
New Dimension Comics. Next New Dimension. Next Dimension. Whatever. We'll get there. Sorry,
I can say that I don't think I use this Terak card ever. I use him as a manager.
You use him as a manager.
I use him as a manager, but I did not use him as a wrestler at this point in time.
Well, and at times, like guys like this, you would use them at least I would use them in a Royal Rumble style, or I would use them in a Survivor Series or a War Game style. But at this time period, the roster's so large, I don't know if you even need to use them.
Yeah. No.
That's why I don't usually use manager cards in the wrestling capacity at this time. Unless I do, every now and again, I might add like a handicap match, like a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2, and include the manager. But it's very rare.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't needed at this time with this size roster.
The roster is huge.
So you don't want to give up one of your wrestling spots for a guy like Terak. Like, if you'd have mentioned that he had that creature with him, though, I would have. God, I gotta play that. You gotta write that into the storyline somehow.
And then you have him as a 5 distractor.
Yeah, which is awful. That's the worst like possible.
Yeah.
But he has a 7. He has a 7 now if he has Sasquatch with him.
He has to tell him what to do.
Yeah. Hey, go stand over there. Okay. Because Moloch doesn't talk either.
No.
He's just a big idiot.
He is a dark star creature. I mean, when they introduce him, I just want to recap because I don't want to give too much away in the book. I know you guys are riveted by it. With that, we heard some pounding noises like heavy footsteps outside the media center. Darkos wasn't prepared for this and turned his head quickly toward the sound. A figure appeared outside the door, but was too big to enter without bending over. Instead of bending over, however, the creature made the doorway big enough by breaking through it. It was
Shockmaster.
incredible. The creature was over 7 feet tall and white as a sheet. Without breaking his stride, he walked over towards Terak. Darkos and his men backed away. He doesn't look white. Why is he white? It says in the book he's white as a sheet. Why is he not white? I'm sorry, I just read it. Like
I was waiting for you to get to that because that was something that was brought up ages ago.
Wait a minute.
he's not white. He's hairy. He's like brown, probably, right?
He could be any color.
He can be any color you want. That's a Moloch of a different color. Oh wow.
Yeah, it's almost as bad as the the bite to mouth with your lips sewn shut.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that. Not only does he have Moloch though, but he mentions his last line in the press conferences, and we've still got the creeper on the team as well. Like, in case Moloch's not enough, we got creeper too. Don't
Moloch
forget about
never
it.
did anything.
He brought back the Savage in Savage Kingdom. That's actually in the book. I can't take
Bring
credit
back
for that.
Moloch.
Brought back the Savage in Savage Kingdom.
Oh gosh, I love this. I love everything about this. See, this is what's missing in wrestling: the lower tier card guys being important and entertaining.
Yep.
We need more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that thing is amazing.
I can't get it to focus again.
What was the bad WWE spot with Eric Rowan where they
He had a
something
spider.
He had a spider in a cage. I feel like that thing should have been in
That
the
was
cage.
obviously a puppet he was operating.
That thing should have been in the cage. Whatever it is. I need Tom. Let's get Tom on here. That thing is amazing.
Here, let me
Who was the artist on the set? You guys are always big on art.
Bendis.
Bendis was the artist. So maybe we need to reach out to Bendis and be like, what is this?
Yeah.
Has he ever used it in another comic? Like, was this a Spider-Man thing? I don't know. I want to know. All right, so we're not going to get an answer tonight. Hey, comment down below. Mention what you think it is.
Or someone's going to pull up some reference from the book later on of what it is.
If you had to give this thing a name, I'm all ears. Well, I for one will admit I was not expecting much out of Terak here, but I've loved the conversation.
Yeah, it's all because of his sidekicks.
It's amazing. I'm excited. And I'm getting ready to play 2102, by the way.
There you
go. For those of you that don't realize, I'm playing MyFed, and I'm in October of 2101 right now.
Yeah, so we really don't review or upgrade the manager stats.
No.
But can we upgrade him and just give him a 7 distractor rating all the time?
How about a 6 and an 8 with Moloch? So I mean, if there's 2 people out there, that should be a pretty high distractor rating.
And this little creature. You got to get a bonus point for that creature.
And the monkey cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever this thing is, the hairless.
You got to get a bonus
demon.
All right. Well, Darkos has even a smaller background. It's very slim. He's obviously the manager of the Masked Assassins. Darkos has entered 2102 with a darker, more terrifying look than before. What does he mean when he says that a second reign of assassin greatness is coming? Darkos is pretty much retired as a wrestler, but he will occasionally get involved in a tag match, particularly pitting himself in Enigma against Terak and Stalker or Viper. That's it. That's his whole bio on this with a new card. That was worthy of a new card, by the way. Just to give him a hood.
Darkos fell pretty fast.
I liked Darkos as like the theatrical over the top manager. I really liked writing his character, and I thought he was interesting. And I thought he gave that Masked Assassins team a good mouthpiece to use. Because I almost view him, and I don't know how many you guys talk about like John Wilkes Booth, who killed Abraham Lincoln as an assassin. They say that he jumped on the stage afterwards That's kind of how I pictured Darkos in my head. Like he murdered somebody and then theatrically like made it overly dramatic. Like, look what I've done before he headed out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm crazy. That might just be me. I'm drawing comparison to John Wilkes Booth in Darkos. Just so you know.
Well, he is an assassin.
That's what I mean. Maybe he was a male model, just like on a Zoolander. They mentioned John Wilkes Booth. He had the blue steel look.
Yeah, I have for me, Darkos is a mastermind in my Fed, and he's one of the all-time greatest managers.
I'm telling you, he's fun to write.
He is.
He doesn't have a distractor rating on his card, though. I just noticed.
Well, does it say it on here?
I think I made him a 6 because that's the average
default. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was only a 5 because I think I remember reading it.
I think his first card was a 5.
No, it doesn't say. It doesn't say on here. I thought I read it, but that must have been Terak. I was still reading.
Yeah, his first card was a 5. I found a picture of it.
Yeah.
I think he's such a fun character to write as a manager.
I like this look for him too.
See, I don't. I like his previous look.
Really?
Yeah.
The Doctor Doom look.
What I've done for him in this promotion in this incarnation, when it hits 2105 or 2106, I have the mass assassins breaking into 2 groups. One's taking over the GWF and one's taking over the NGA, and so he just appears randomly on different cards. So he's managing in both promotions. It's the first time I've had somebody do that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not there all the time. So he shows up for the bigger matches.
I'm loving reading this to the press conference.
I love the press conferences back in the day.
I miss these. These are fantastic. Can I go through it a little bit? I just want you to hear the Darkos version because we already covered the Terak version, which was right before it. A robotic laughing sound came over the loudspeakers and filled the room. The voice proclaimed a new era is about to begin, an era of intimidation and greatness. Be warned. During sudden death, you will see the coming of the new and deadlier masked assassins. With that announcement, suddenly a floating head appeared near the door. It looked like Darkos, but the eyes were bigger, more terrifying than before. The sound of laughing filled the media center. Just as suddenly the lights came on. Darkos was still there, but wearing a dark cloak, which made him look like a disembodied head in the darkness. He was more eerie, more threatening than ever before. Yeah, I like his interview. It says the second reign of the masked assassins is ready to begin. When was the first reign? Is what called And Darkos hits him with the first reign was my master plan that was in place and then interrupted by that idiot Viper. It was all planned so perfectly. Enigma and Viper were to be my singles champions, and then the demons my tag stars. We would be dominating this federation right now if not for the cowardly defection of Viper.
Viper.
Viper ruined everything. Masked Assassins, you heard it here. Masked Assassins would have been on top of the GWF.
It's true.
Had Viper not switched sides. That's it. I mean, Enigma, honestly, is a better card than I remembered, like, when I first got him.
Mm-hmm.
He does compete. I mean, he hasn't won the title for me, but he did compete for it a few times. And I think he even won one of my Royal Rumbles. Regal Rumbles, sorry. It's GWF. Regal Rumble. Copyright.
Yeah, be careful. Be careful.
My Regal Rumble.
Fun times.
What do you got to tell us about these guys in your Fed there, Mike?
Well, I can tell you, Darkos has led his groups to 1 GWF TV title, 3 Intergalaxian tag titles, 3 of my Milky Way titles, which is my lower tier, because some of those guys were lower tier, 1 GWF tag title, 4 Galaxian titles, and 1 NGA title. So he's been Feds because that's where they started off. But when they dropped down, they were still dominating. Like he's always managed to keep his wrestlers relevant.
See, that's an interesting way to look at it. I've not started a like manager wing in my Hall of Fame or anything, just introducing it in 2098, but I've never tabulated like the managers of wrestlers like that.
You should.
I should go back and at least look and see who's managed the most champions. But it wouldn't be unfair because Omega with Star Warrior and the Game Masters, and I don't know.
Well,
but it's an interesting way to look at it.
But like you do have some guys who, like Omega, he managed some big guys, but not everybody had the same success.
No, it's true. So that answers a question though, or to ask the question: do you judge managers on their success on just certain wrestlers because they won titles, or do you on their overall body of work?
It's a good question.
See, for me, I think it's overall body of work because, and then you look at who they're also managing. Like for him, the GWF tag team, I do remember that. I think that was the Blood Brothers, Splatter and Pit Viper. I think they upset somebody and captured the GWF tag title.
I forgot they were a team. I mean, I used them obviously back then.
And the Intergalaxian tag, two of them are, the Demons of Hydra. And, as a wrestler, Darkos, he captured one title, and that was a tag title with Chaos.
I don't even know how that happens.
Well, because I do a tag tournament, and you're partnered up with someone.
Lethal Lottery,
and he was partnered up with Chaos and Darkos, and Chaos was just like, I got this.
Which, by the way, Lethal Lottery might be the longest title of a pay-per-view. Wasn't it Battle Bowl, the Lethal Lottery?
I think so.
I loved those, by the way. That was one of the draws to watch in WCW.
They were fun.
But they were so predictable because they wrote them so horribly. But
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was
so here's an interesting thing about the Terak and Darkos interaction in the book. When Terak's going on his rant about standing by long enough and not being intimidating anymore and bringing Mullock to the ring, Qualitar asked him, "Can you do that? Isn't there a rule that only one person could be at ringside during a match?" And Terak hit him, "Commissioner Carter had that rule, not Commissioner Grogan. I checked." So there you go. I didn't think about that. I didn't know it was outlawed. You couldn't have multiples.
No, I didn't know that was a rule.
And then Darker says, "Who cares anyway? Bring anybody you want. Isn't that puny little creature on the table?"
See, even Darkos called him out.
And then Terak said, "Not quite Darkos, and the name is Mullock." And then that's when I read that already with the pounding noises and everything.
The Quacky and Monkey Lizard.
Who knew that would be the star? That should be the screenshot of this episode.
It should.
Just that little guy. He's earned it.
Delicious B. Crumb.
That's him.
That guy made my night.
We're gonna get Tom's blessing to make a bootleg of him.
No, he's gonna be 2141. If he's not 2140,
he'll be like, guys, you know what? I'd let you do it, but I got plans for that guy.
He'd probably be like, "What are you talking about?" I don't remember any little creature on there. All right.
Fun.
Brought me a lot of joy tonight. I hope it brings all the viewers joy.
Yeah, all 162 of them.
Those that 2 extra are missing out. They need to get signed up.
Maybe by the time this drops, they will.
That little guy's going to push us over the edge.
He's a big star.
Star Wars fan. We'll link it up. We'll say there's a Quacky and Monkey Lizard in the game.
Yeah, just change it to that and Darth Maul, and you've got your followers.
There you go.
We can do that.
Mike will build a Lego to represent it. I'm sure there's a Star Wars Lego of it.
That's something I can do. I haven't done this in a while.
No.
Take my wall of Lego.
I did it, didn't I?
You did.
Wow.
I completed the
UCS
X-Wing.
I'm so happy I don't know the name of that. Thanks, guys.
You don't know what an X-wing is?
Oh, I know what an X-wing is. I didn't know it was a UCS or whatever.
Ultimate Collector Series.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't know that.
Santa's Village in there.
Yep. We get those for free in the mail. It's more down there.
I bet Jar Jar would have built Legos.
Jar Jar's going to come back.
That thing grew up and became Jar Jar.
It's a Gungan. It's a baby Gungan.
I don't know. It might be. Who knows? All right.
Good times.
So we said we'd do our. Well, actually, at this point in time, too, we might have a new Stanley Cup champion and NBA champions.
Yeah, we're in limbo right now.
I don't like the Celtics. I mean, I don't dislike the Celtics, but this team's not very likable.
I'm a Celtics fan. I've been since probably '84 when I was watching Bird.
This is just a different team. I don't really care for these guys. I mean, I don't hate them, but they're not appealing.
I'm cheering for the Oilers because Oilers are my favorite Canadian team, and the Celtics are my favorite NBA team.
Well, the Blue Jackets didn't make it, so.
Ever. And then somebody goes, American. There's 34 Canadians playing for the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
The next closest country is America with 9.
I saw that same stat the other day. Because they were like, why wouldn't Canadians work for the Oilers? Well, because the Panthers have just as many Canadians.
But since it went over so well, our anti Mount Rushmore, people did like it. They were like, "Hey, that's a great spin on it." So we're gonna do our 4 worst movie franchises. So not just one movie, but they got to have a couple.
Okay.
I've got my list. You want me to start?
Okay, let's hear Jeff's.
I went last time, so that's why I wanted to go first this time.
Okay,
my number 1. Transformers. Can't stand it. Think it's stupid. I don't like Shia LaBeouf, although I will give him credit for Peanut Butter Falcon because I love that movie.
That was a great movie.
Transformers awful. I didn't like that and I know they were going for realistic, like realism type thing, and they made them more steel. I didn't like that Optimus Prime wasn't so like boxy and like obviously Optimus Prime. I didn't like the look of the Transformers either. I thought the movies were awful. Haven't really watched all of them, but I've watched a few of them. I can't remember if I watched 3 of them or something, but yeah, not a fan. Transformers is number 1 awful on my list. Number 2, Avatar. Heard the huge appeal of it, went and saw it and was like, why?
Yeah.
It was the same old story.
There's nothing original about it at all.
Of humans bad. Mm-hmm. We don't know what you are, so we're going to destroy you kind of thing. Like, whatever. Plot's been done a million times, and the graphics, they were fine, but they were overrated for even the time.
You mean searching for unobtainium, the really tough to find energy?
It's not my thing. Number 3 on my list is anything Medea. I don't get it why you want to watch a man dress up as a woman. And like Tyler Perry's somewhat funny in some of his other movies. I don't mind, but the Medea movies, yeah, I'm out. I don't need to see Medea go like do the Ernest cycle and hit every movie. At least Ernest I liked to an extent. Ernest taught me what Miak was. What has Medea ever done for me? Don't like Medea. And then my least favorite of all time was the Scary Movie series. Yeah, so the Scary Movies, I enjoy a good spoof. I liked, National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon, and I like the Naked Gun movies, like Robin Hood Men in Tights. Scary Movie had nothing to offer. The only thing I've even seen that even gets a meme is the got tiny hand guy. And the movies themselves were just horrible, absolutely horrible. I don't know what the problem was, but I don't know how they made those. And I don't know how they turned it into not another teen movie eventually. Like all those movies were awful.
Yeah.
I've never gone back and watched any of them. I have seen 1 or 2, and yeah, it's a shame they spent money on those.
They had like some leading people in them too.
Yeah, and they were people I liked. Like I liked the Wayans brothers. I liked the Wayans brothers show. I I like other movies that have the Wayans brothers in them, but that ain't one of them. Those movies were horrible. My honorable mention for worst movie franchise and I wanted to like it. This is something I went out to see because I wanted to enjoy it. Was the Fantastic Four movies, and I tried. I did. I almost gave that slot to GI Joe because I love GI Joe as my favorite cartoon growing up, and they were really bad. They were good action movies. They were just horrible GI Joe movies.
Yeah.
But Fantastic Four won out because I was just like, I know I watched all those, and I can't tell you a single thing that I enjoyed from them. At least in GI Joe, there was a few things I did enjoy, but
The Rock.
yeah, there was nothing.
I didn't mind the first couple one, but as soon as Josh Trank took over the Fantastic Four,
that was with the thing without pants.
Yeah, I just.
That's one of the worst movies of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, so that was my list. I hope that you guys have something to add to because I love talking movies.
Oh yeah. Well, Brock, you can go next because I went first last time.
All right, I'm going to say the Fast and Furious series should have ended about 8 movies ago. They keep making them. They get progressively worse and more stupid and ridiculous.
That almost made my list because of how many movies there have been. But they do have some redeeming qualities. I like some of them.
Yeah, occasionally there might be something fun about it, but they need to end it. And it's totally like the plot isn't even the same as what it was when it started. It's totally not even the same series anymore.
It got completely unrealistic at some point.
Yeah.
It jumped the shark in Fonzie terms.
Here you go. I also am not a fan of the Jurassic World movies. I only like the first Jurassic Park movie, but then Jurassic World is just a remake of Jurassic Park, and then they keep making them, and they're just now more and more stupid. And I don't think we need them. Like, just watch Jurassic Park if you want to watch a dinosaur movie.
The first Jurassic Park wasn't bad, but
right.
Yeah.
It was a movie where I'm like, I got to see this in the theater.
Yeah, like Jurassic Park, Lost World was It's Jurassic Park 3, But
in the music World, even, I still to this day have the Jurassic Park song in my head. And the bingo dino DNA. That
guy's
stuff.
great, Mr. DNA.
There's so much great stuff in the first movie that it was a shame they made more. I know why they did, but
that's why I separated Jurassic World from Jurassic Park.
And I appreciate that.
Next, I'm going to go with the Resident Evil movies.
That almost made my list too. I had that on there at one point. I was like, no.
They're nothing like the source material.
Yeah.
At all.
I like the first one.
It was different.
See, I never played the video games.
See, I
didn't have that going on.
Yeah, I was invested in the video games.
The very first one on PS1. Oh man, I played it so much to try to beat it without saving.
To unlock the tofu hidden character.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it was so. That game was amazing. Then to see the movie version, it was like, no.
That game was ahead of its time because it had a lot of resource management in it too, where you only had so many bullets and rockets and whatever, and
so much ink.
Right. Yeah.
You had to use the ink to save the game.
Right.
I loved that game. Like, fantastic game. So the movies, yeah, definitely let down.
I don't even know how many they ended up making. I think they're still making them here and there.
They probably are.
There's some animated movies.
They're still making Resident Evil.
Yeah, the games are still good. There's some animated movies that are good. I'm specifically talking about the live action series with Mila Jovovich.
Yeah.
How many was that for me? 3?
3.
I'm gonna go with Ice Age. They're not funny.
I swear to God, I had that listed too. It's like I was narrowing down my list, and that was on there too. And I was like, those movies are horrible because I was thinking kids movies. I watch a ton of the series kids movies, and that is probably my least favorite.
Yeah, it's not funny at all. And they keep making those too. They just announced another one, I think.
I mean, I was down to like Ice Age was on there, and I had Medea and the scary movies on there, and I was like, I got to take off Ice Age. Like, I was like, but I hated it.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen any of them the whole way through.
The only good part is the little squirrel chasing the nut.
Yeah, I think that was.
He has a name. I don't know.
But my kids don't even like him.
Well, even Ray Romano has an annoying voice. Like, I get that he had a hit show, but you don't want to use him as a voice character. That's like when Madagascar used David Schwimmer as a voice character. They have nasally, awful voices.
Yeah.
Like, don't use them as voice characters. There's so many good voice actors out there.
I agree. And for my honorable mention, I'm going to put the Saw franchise on there.
See, I gave a little leniency on that one because the first couple were really good.
So I saw the ending to the first one a mile away. Like the first time I'm watching it, and
well, see, that ending caught me. I didn't expect
you got that. That one got you. Yeah,
the ending got me because I was like, "Who the hell are they talking about? The guy in the bed?"
Yeah,
it didn't make any sense. I was like, how did he plan all this? It doesn't even make any sense. The first two I thought were really well done.
But then that's another one. They just, and then there were all the knockoffs of it.
But then after that,
yeah, it
the
stayed
first two
around
I thought
too
were
long.
done really well.
So that's mine.
Money.
For my list, me and Jeff had two of them. Transformers.
Yes.
Because I was growing up, I grew up with Transformers. And when I saw the movie, I was so excited. And then when they transform, it sounded like somebody putting nuts and bolts in a blender. It was just, it didn't have that
it was cool, bad.
Didn't have that cool, animated Transformer sound. It was,
it was bad.
Yeah. And they didn't look like the people.
You couldn't tell
them apart. That was my problem. You couldn't tell them apart. And like Optimus Prime was very blue, red, you could tell him from forever away. And then they made it like this. And I'm like, which one's Optimus? Hold on, wait a second.
Yeah, they all look the same. That was my biggest gripe.
Megatron and Starscream.
Yeah, which is which? I don't know. They're both bad. Shoot them.
Then my next, and I'm going along with Jeff, and Fast and the Furious.
Well, that was Brock. That wasn't me.
Oh, sorry. I liked the first one. I thought it was cool. I like
it's a great standalone movie.
And then you look at like, oh yeah, they're stealing VCRs in the first one.
Then they become international spies or some shit.
And in number 10, they're in outer space.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
It stayed around too long.
And then at one point, Dom dies, and his girlfriend yells at him to come back to life, and he does.
Everybody comes back to life in those movies.
The only reason Fast and Furious didn't make my list was the first movie I actually enjoyed, and then I thought the third movie with Tokyo Drift, even though it wasn't a great movie, was hilarious. So I couldn't put it on my list
with the cousin or something like that.
I think if they would have done more like Tokyo Drift, where it was just like in the same universe with different characters doing different things, I think it would have been a better franchise.
Yeah, probably would have.
And my next one is a more modern one, not Harry Potter, but the Grindelwald series.
Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah. I tried watching it, and I'm like, this is.
I never saw any of them.
Horrible.
I tried to watch the first one. I think we own it because I got it for cheap, but I don't think I watched the rest of them.
When I watch a movie, once I start it, I gotta finish it. I'm a completionist, and I'm like watching this, and I'm finding myself, I'm forcing myself to sit through this movie. Like, this is so horrible.
Yeah, you gotta finish it though.
Yep. Then the next, Twilight.
See, I didn't mind those for what they were. I think they kind of fit what they were trying to do. I don't think they're great movies, but.
I didn't want my vampires to be baseball playing sparkly guys.
I didn't mind the baseball playing. Sparkle I could have lived without, but the baseball, hey, if I was super fast like that, I'm in.
It's an unfair advantage.
And they're literally turn into bats. I mean,
I think I went to the theater with my wife and daughter to see the first one, and I'm like, I'm not doing that for number 2 and 3. And so we rented them, and I think I saw the next 2, and I'm like, I can't complete the series. This is.
See, I didn't mind. I thought they kind of fit what they were going for. I mean, I don't think they're great movies, and I've seen them all once, but
I think I only saw the first one.
I think as far as bad, they weren't that bad.
And then my last one is the Ernest series.
Oh, you're getting on Ernest. I mean, Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Scared Stupid. Those right there are classics.
No, John Cena's becoming Ernest.
You know what I mean, Vern?
You
can't see me, Vern.
It was. I saw the first one. I'm like, okay, this is literally. I feel myself becoming dumber as I'm watching this movie.
Ernest Goes to Camp wasn't bad. That was a good movie. That was the first one, right? Ernest Goes to Camp.
he
don't
got
remember.
they turned a commercial segment into like a 5-movie deal.
That's amazing. Not only did he go to prison, he saved Christmas.
He did. He did a lot for the world.
He was scared stupid. Like I said, I wouldn't know what Miak is if it wasn't for him.
I still
That
don't know
was
what that
hilarious.
is.
He had it in the scared stupid, and it was the only thing that could kill the trolls. He had a hint, and it said MI-K, and he's like, I know what it is, Miak. It was obviously milk. It was hilarious. Anyway, look it up. I like those 2 movies. The rest of the Ernest movies, I'll give you, they're awful. But the Goes to Camp wasn't a bad comedy, and then the Scared Stupid is so stupid that it was funny.
But the and one that almost made it was the Sharknado series.
See, I've never watched any of those. I couldn't put anything on the list I've never watched.
See, Medea. I actually tried watching a Medea movie.
That's what I mean. Is I've tried.
And that's one of the ones where I'm like, that was one of the few movies I went, I'm gonna have to stop this.
I don't need to complete that. You mentioned the Grinwald series and stuff. I had that same problem, but with the Hobbit movies. Like I watched the Lord of the Rings and didn't mind them, but then I tried to watch the Hobbit series. And I've never gotten through the first one.
Well, it's because they took one book and made it into 9 hours of movie.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I've tried to go back and watch the Lord of the Rings again, and I can't watch it again. Like I watched it at the time when they came out and stuff. I thought they were okay movies, but I can't even go back and watch those now.
Yeah.
Just don't care for them.
But we should wrap this up here.
Yeah. Please share your top 4 hated movie franchises below in the comments. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that big red subscribe button right underneath Jeff. Excuse me, I'm having a bad allergy today. I apologize, everybody.
Pete Beck was a big fan of the the reverse Mount Rushmore.
He called me out for AC/DC, but I stand behind it. I'm gonna shake him all night long.
Shake all night long. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like immediately.
So,
for sure.
While you're here, please scroll down to the description, and you will see all our friends who make Filsinger Games related content, including the official Filsinger Games podcast Roll Up, the Legends team's Uncharted Territory, Dizzy Dice from Lee Longpree, the Filsinger Games fan cast from Grant, or I think it's solo promoter now, solo promoter from Grant Pachoco. That's also here on YouTube. He posts almost daily content. Check that out. Also, you'll find Dave Little's Heartland Championship Wrestling after further review. Bucky749, Brad Plays 81. You'll find me on Twitch every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, where I run my bootleg fed Next Dimension Wrestling. Check that out. We have a couple card giveaway things going on right now if you want to get in on that. Yeah, so that's all we got. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Good night, all.
Later.
See ya.